You know, it never ceases to amaze me how games from over a decade ago are literally just the best. The gameplay is much more robust, it just works. The graphics are absolutely amazing and still hold up to this day. Video games of this era were so simplistic, real, and fun. They were true video games, not the bullshit that you see in most modern games. Max Payne 3 is a perfect example of this. Gritty, intense, and mechanically refined. When the game released back in 2012, it didn't get the long-term recognition it deserved. But today we're diving deep into what made Max Payne 3 special. Max Payne 3 takes place in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a city of extremes where the rich live in lavish mansions while the poor struggle to survive in sprawling favelas. Max takes a job as private security for the wealthy Bronco family. This is a Max we've never seen before, a man who has completely given up. His days of being a cop are long gone, and now he's trying to make it through to the next drink, the next job, the next gunfight. This is a game that doesn't pull its punches when it comes to showing the raw brutality of Max's world. Every interaction, every cutscene is soaked in cynicism and regret, making the story feel heavier than most action games. The game throws us into a downward spiral of betrayal, corruption, and endless gunfights. The story is darker than ever. At the core of Max Payne 3 are themes of violence, addiction, and redemption. Max isn't just fighting enemies, he's also fighting himself. His addiction to alcohol and painkillers constantly drags him down, yet even in his lowest moments, he pushes forward. The game presents a bleak but realistic take on self-destruction, showing how Max's vices make him sloppy, reckless, and ultimately more dangerous to those around him. I really enjoy the disoriented, flashy visual editing here, perfectly reflecting how Max feels. The characters surrounding Max are just as complex. Raul Passos, Max's supposed friend, has a mix of good intentions and shady motives. The Bronco family is full of secrets, each brother representing different aspects of Brazil's corruption. Then there's Becker and Victor, whose roles in the story elevate the tension to a boiling point. As Max peels back the layers of deception, he's forced to face the reality that he's been a pawn in a much larger game all along. Despite all the chaos, Max's journey isn't just about violence, it's about redemption. He spends the entire game in a downward spiral, but by the end he finds something resembling peace. It's not a happy ending, but it's the closest thing to one Max could ever get. James McCaffrey's performance as Max is phenomenal. You feel every ounce of exhaustion, anger, and regret in his voice. The game leans heavily into cinematic storytelling, with seamless transitions between cutscenes and gameplay, making it feel like you're playing through a brutal action thriller. The way Rockstar blended Max's internal monologues with gameplay is masterful. He's constantly talking to himself, reflecting on his past mistakes, questioning his choices. This internal dialogue adds so much depth to his character, making him feel real and painfully human. Rockstar didn't just bring Max Payne back, they rebuilt him from the ground up. Max Payne 3's gameplay is a masterclass in third-person shooting. It's fast, visceral, and every single gunfight feels like a John Wick action movie in motion. The signature bullet time mechanic never felt better. Whether you're diving through a window, dodging gunfire in slow motion, or rolling onto the floor and unloading on enemies, the gunplay is satisfying as hell, and is what ultimately keeps me coming back to play Max Payne 3. The slow motion diving mechanics aren't just a gimmick. They're an essential part of combat that separates this game from every other third-person shooter out there. Every time you trigger bullet time, it turns an ordinary shootout into an explosive cinematic gunfight. What makes it stand out is the physics. Max isn't some tanky bullet sponge. Every movement has weight. The Euphoria physics engine means Max reacts realistically to damage. Dive at the wrong angle and you'll slam into furniture, or worse, get shot mid-air. This level of realism makes every action feel deliberate. The way Max stumbles when he's shot, the way bodies react to bullets, it all adds to the immersion. Unlike many shooters where enemies just drop lifelessly, Max Payne 3 ensures that every kill feels impactful. Enemies don't just fall, they slump, stumble, and writhe in pain before finally going down. And let's talk about the weapons. Every single one has impact. From the crack of a Desert Eagle to the spray of an Uzi, the game makes you feel every bullet. Plus, the dual wielding system lets you mix and match weapons, adding another layer of strategy. There's also a fantastic level of detail on how Max handles weapons. If you're holding a two-handed gun but decide to dual-wield pistols, Max doesn't magically make the rifle appear on his back. He drops it on the floor, adding another layer of realism. The game also does away with regenerating health, sticking to classic painkillers. That means every fight is tense, forcing you to think ahead instead of just hiding behind cover. Painkillers become a crucial resource, and managing them properly can mean the difference between surviving a shootout or watching Max collapse to the ground. Max Payne 3 doesn't just let you shoot, it makes every shot feel meaningful. The enemy AI is aggressive, flanking you, forcing you to stay on the move, and making each encounter feel dynamic. On harder difficulties, every bullet counts. One wrong move can end a firefight instantly. The AI isn't dumb either. Enemies will take cover intelligently, work together, and rush you when you're vulnerable. It's a stark contrast to modern shooters where enemies often feel like predictable cannon fodder. The game also features a unique cover system that doesn't slow the action down. Unlike some shooters where you're glued to cover, here you're encouraged to move, take risks, and use bullet time creatively. The animation system is also incredible. Every move Max makes feels fluid and natural, yet weighed down by the reality of his aging body. You can feel the exhaustion in his movements, the sluggishness after a heavy fight. It's a small detail, but it adds so much to the immersion. Another thing that sets Max Payne 3 apart is its commitment to realism. The way Max reloads, the way bullet casings scatter across the ground, the weight of his body when he falls, it all makes for an immersive experience. Rockstar took things even further by making sure that Max's appearance changes over the course of the game. He starts off in a suit, clean shaven, but as the game progresses, you see him deteriorate. The Hawaiian shirt, the shaved head, the bandages, it all reflects his downward spiral. And let's not forget how something so simple as adding a range of difficulty settings makes the game stand out even more in today's gaming market, ranging from easy, medium, hard, hardcore, and old school. There's even cheats to unlock, gold weapons to collect, and story grinds to complete. Also, there's an arcade mode that add a range of challenges to the main story, forcing different styles of gameplay. Modes like this are rarely seen in modern gaming. Max Payne 3 was critically acclaimed when it dropped. Reviewers praised its action, story, and presentation. But despite the praise, it didn't reach the legendary status of other Rockstar titles like Red Dead Redemption or GTA. Why? Well, part of it was timing. Released in 2012, it had to compete with juggernauts like Assassin's Creed 3, Dishonored, and Far Cry 3. On top of that, it marked a drastic shift from the previous games, which alienated some longtime fans, and that's a damn shame because Max Payne 3 was ahead of its time. It was one of the last truly great linear story-driven shooters before the industry became obsessed with open worlds and live service mechanics. Yet looking back, Max Payne 3 stands as a forgotten masterpiece. It took risks, told a mature story, and delivered some of the most refined third-person shooting mechanics of its time. Its impact on the gaming industry is undeniable, influencing future shooters in terms of realism, physics, and cinematic action. While it didn't spawn endless sequels, it remains one of the best single-player third-person shooters ever made. Even today, its mechanics and storytelling hold up in ways that few modern games can't match. Unfortunately, Rockstar seems to have left it behind. Unlike their other franchises, Max Payne 3 never got a proper re-release or remaster. There are no official 4K updates, no remastered editions, and no modern console ports. It's almost as if Rockstar wants us to forget about Max Payne entirely. If you haven't played Max Payne 3 in a while, now is the perfect time to revisit it. To add some flair to the game, there are a range of mods that will make your experience feel brand new. Simply giving Max new clothes, changing how weapons look, and getting rid of the HUD entirely will make you want to replay Max Payne 3. Some of you are probably wondering how I added these mods, and I'm going to show you step by step. So one of the first tools you guys are going to go ahead and download is called OpenIV. OpenIV is basically a modding tool for any Rockstar game, so you can open up the game's archive so you can start editing the files. So you're gonna need this, and just to be safe, you guys can go to virustotal.com if you want and put the exe in here once you download it, just to make sure everything is safe. Next, you want to go ahead and head over to nexusmods.com. For this example, I'm just gonna show you guys how to install the John Wick Guns pack. So once you're here, go to Files and Manual Download. So once you download the file, it should look something like this, weapons.rpf. Go ahead and open OpenIV and click on Max Payne 3 for Windows. It's gonna take a while to try to find it. So here we go. So this is the game's packets, and we can unlock them. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and put that on the side. Let's put this over here. And let's go back to the page and go back to description to see where we need to replace this file. So it says right here, extract the weapons RPF file from the archive and replace with the original RPF in the game folder. So you need to go under Max Payne 3 PC models CD images. So let's go ahead and find that. Make sure to click on edit mode so that you can edit this. So we need to go to PC models CD images, and there's the weapon RPF right there. So I'm just going to, and another good thing to do is to copy that original file, that original RPF file, and paste it in here. So that's just to save it, just in case we mess anything up. So all you got to do is drag and drop, and that's the original RPF file. And all we want to go ahead and do is drag and drop, and there you go. The weapons RPF is now changed, and it is that simple. Now the mod should be installed and should work just fine. Max Payne 3 might not have gotten the long-term recognition it deserved, but it remains one of Rockstar's finest games, a brutal, emotional, and mechanically polished shooter that still holds up today. As for what the future looks like for this game, I don't know if we will ever see another Max Payne video game. With the original actor James McCaffrey sadly passing away, it feels like the end of an era. Could Rockstar bring the franchise back? Sure, but would it ever feel the same without McCaffrey's voice bringing Max to life? That's the real question. So what do you think? Should Rockstar bring Max Payne back? Let me know in the comments, and rest in peace, James McCaffrey.